Elijah Garner's first day at Lincoln Ridge Middle School in Fresno, California, began under the gentle warmth of the morning sun. The cracked sidewalks reflected the city's age, and a slight chill lingered from the previous night. His mother offered a reassuring smile as she dropped him off, her hand gently brushing the back of his neck before he stepped out of the car. Adjusting his backpack, Elijah took a deep breath and approached the main building, acutely aware of the curious glances directed his way. Being the new kid often felt like arriving from another planet. Inside, the school carried the familiar sense of floor polish, overcooked tater tots, and the unmistakable presence of adolescent energy. Elijah didn't mind. His primary goal was to remain unnoticed long enough to understand the school's dynamics. His homeroom teacher, Mr. Langdon, a tall man with graying temples and sleeves perpetually rolled up, introduced him without much ado. "This is Elijah Garner from Bakersfield. Let's make him feel welcome," he announced before returning to the attendance sheet. Elijah found a seat in the back row, grateful for the lack of immediate attention. Schools like Lincoln Ridge operated on unspoken hierarchies. There were the loud kids, the quiet ones, the invisible ones, and then there were students like Tyler Merrick. Tyler moved through the hallways with an air of ownership, his voice always a notch louder than necessary, ensuring his presence was felt. Elijah first encountered him during lunch on Monday when Tyler brazenly cut the line, making a pointed comment about the smell of new kids and bad cafeteria fish, his eyes locking onto Elijah as he spoke. Elijah chose not to react, focusing instead on his tray and moving forward. At home that evening, his mother inquired about his day. "It's fine," Elijah replied, spooning rice onto his plate. "Did you meet anyone?" she pressed gently. He shrugged. "A few." She observed him for a moment longer than he preferred, but then let the topic drop. By Wednesday, Elijah had established a routine. He identified the less crowded hallways, sat at the periphery of group tables in the cafeteria, and kept his headphones loosely in place, enough to deter conversation but not appear rude. He spoke softly when called upon in class, aiming to avoid drawing attention. However, Tyler seemed intent on disrupting this invisibility. During a pass by the basketball court, Tyler's voice rang out, "Hey, look, it's Mr. Mute." A few chuckles followed. Elijah paused, turned to face him, and calmly asked, "Got something to say?" Tyler smirked, "Just wondering if you're broken or just scared to talk." Elijah held his gaze and replied, "Neither," before walking away. Tyler's need for control and eliciting reactions was unmet, making Elijah's indifference a threat. Smoke Long Quarterly. +1. Sandy Cooper. +1. By Thursday morning, a subtle shift in the school's atmosphere became evident. Elijah hadn't made any grand gestures, but his composed demeanor had caught attention, especially after the basketball court incident. Some students began observing him differently, noting his unflappable nature. This change unsettled Tyler, who thrived on dominance and was now feeling his influence wane. During second-period gym class, the students were assigned partner drills. While most paired up with friends, Elijah waited near the bleachers for an available partner. Seizing the opportunity, Tyler approached with exaggerated enthusiasm. "Partner up with me, new guy," he said, clapping Elijah's shoulder a tad too hard. Elijah met his gaze. "I'm good." "Oh no, you and me, we're gonna be best buds," Tyler insisted. Coach Ziegler glanced over but didn't intervene, perhaps dismissing it as typical adolescent behavior. Throughout the drills, sit-ups, push-ups, sprints, Tyler added unnecessary slaps and shoves, testing Elijah's patience. Elijah remained unresponsive, which only fueled Tyler's frustration. During the relay, as Elijah ran back from the cone, Tyler taunted, "Faster, turtle." Elijah maintained his pace, tagged Tyler, and stepped aside. Tyler, in a bid to embarrass him, stumbled theatrically and exclaimed, "He's got butterfingers, probably can't even hold a pencil straight." This time, the usual laughter was absent. After class, as Elijah tied his shoes, Tyler lingered. "You act like you're better than everyone," Tyler accused. Elijah looked up. "No, I just don't talk when I don't have anything worth saying." Tyler stepped closer. "You calling me dumb?" Elijah remained calm. "I'm saying you talk too much." The words hit their mark, and Tyler backed off, his confidence shaken. User content. Word spread quickly about the student who stood up to Tyler without resorting to aggression. The school's social dynamics were shifting, and Tyler felt his control slipping. Determined to reassert himself, he planned his next move. Thursday's lunch period was a cacophony of clattering trays and overlapping conversations. Elijah stood near the milk cooler, waiting his turn. Behind him, A brief silence was followed by Tyler's voice. Yo. Elijah didn't turn. Hey. Tyler repeated, louder. Elijah turned his head slightly. No. Then why are you ignoring me? Tyler pressed, stepping uncomfortably close. Elijah could feel his breath. Elijah turned around fully this time. His face was unreadable, calm as ever. You're doing a lot right now, he said, voice even and quiet. That one line sliced through the cafeteria noise like a scalpel. Tyler's expression changed. His jaw clenched. The tension in his shoulders rose. He took a step forward, too close now, and for a brief second, it looked like he might shove Elijah. But instead, he spat in his face. The cafeteria froze. A plastic tray dropped somewhere in the back. Conversations died mid-sentence. Every eye turned toward them. Elijah stood perfectly still, spit sliding down his cheek. His fingers gripped the edge of his tray, not from anger, but from control. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a napkin, and wiped his face in one slow, deliberate motion. Then he looked up and met Tyler's eyes. Whatever Tyler expected to see, rage, embarrassment, even tears, it wasn't that calm, unwavering stare. Elijah's look didn't scream for justice or retaliation. It simply existed, steady and unyielding. Tyler flinched. It was subtle, half a step back, almost imperceptible, but Elijah noticed. A teacher, standing on the far side of the room, was mid-conversation and hadn't seen what had happened. But the students had. Dozens of them. Phones were up, half hidden under tables. A few were already recording. Tyler tried to recover. Yeah, thought so, he muttered and turned to walk away. But Elijah's voice stopped him. Don't touch me again. Tyler froze, then slowly turned back. Or what? You don't want to find out, Elijah replied. Not a threat. A promise. Spoken low, calm, precise. Camden, standing a few feet behind, whispered, Yo, chill. Tyler pointed at Elijah. He just threatened me. Elijah shook his head. I didn't threaten you. I warned you. There it was, that same tone. Measured. Controlled. But underneath, it held something deeper. A quiet power. A locked door hiding a storm. Tyler didn't understand it. But the kids around them did. They saw it in the way Elijah didn't flinch. Didn't yell. Didn't need to. Friday arrived. Elijah came to school like nothing had happened. Same hoodie. Same quiet stride. Same spot in the lunch line. But nothing was the same. By then, the story had spread. Spit in the face. No reaction. One sentence. Tyler backed off. 7th graders whispered about it. 8th graders mentioned it too. Some gave Elijah extra space in the hallway. Others glanced his way a little longer than usual, curiosity flickering in their eyes. But Elijah wasn't chasing attention. He just wanted to get through the day. Tyler, on the other hand, had spent all Thursday night replaying the moment. The look in Elijah's eyes. The way he didn't react. Didn't need to. No one had ever made Tyler feel small before. And now, he couldn't shake it. He arrived Friday with something to prove. Elijah was eating a turkey sandwich alone at the end of a lunch table when Tyler approached. No build-up. No fake charm. Hey, Tyler snapped. Elijah didn't look up. Don't. Just one word. Firm. Final. Tyler's voice rose. What's your problem, man? Think you're tough now? Think you made me look bad yesterday? Elijah looked up, that same composed expression on his face. You made yourself look bad. Tyler's nostrils flared. He reached forward and shoved Elijah hard. The table jolted. Apple slices scattered to the floor. A milk carton toppled over, dripping down the edge. Some kids stood. Others froze. Phones were already up. Elijah stumbled back slightly but caught himself. He didn't respond immediately. He didn't storm. He didn't run. He just stood still, steady. Then he stepped forward. One step. Then another. Tyler laughed nervously. What? You gonna hit me? Elijah said nothing. Tyler shoved him again, harder this time. But Elijah moved, quick, precise. His arm came up, catching Tyler's wrist. He pivoted, shifted his weight, and used Tyler's own momentum to flip him onto the floor. Tyler landed hard on his back, tray skidding across the tiles. Gasps echoed. Elijah didn't follow up. Didn't throw a punch. He just stood there. Calm. Focused. Still. One kid whispered, Yo, did you see that? Camden's mouth hung open. That wasn't normal. Tyler sat up, humiliated. His shirt stained with milk, his face red. He looked around the room, as darting like a cornered animal. Coach Reyes, the assistant PE teacher, came rushing over from the other side of the room. What's going on here? No one answered. Camden stepped forward. Tyler started it. Reyes looked at Elijah. You okay? Elijah nodded. He wasn't out of breath. His hands weren't clenched. His face was calm. Reyes turned to Tyler. Get up. Let's talk. Elijah, meanwhile, picked up his tray, gathered the apple slices, tossed them in the trash, and walked out of the cafeteria without looking back. What he didn't know was how much that moment would change everything. Tyler didn't show up to fifth period. Word was, he was in the principal's office with Coach Reyes and his mom on speakerphone. Some said he was crying. Others said he was yelling. Either way, he didn't come back. Elijah sat through class like always. He took notes. Answered when called. Didn't bring it up. No one around him did either. But the looks, those wide-eyed, lingering stares, said everything. By the end of the day, the video was out. Someone had caught the entire moment. The stance. The shift. The technique. The control. It spread fast. Group chats exploded. Phones buzzed. New kid's a ninja. He didn't even hit him. Dude's like Jackie Chan, but chill. That night, Elijah sat at the dinner table while his mom stirred the pot on the stove. Quiet day, she asked. Elijah shrugged. Same as usual. But she'd already seen the video. A parent from work had sent it. This your son? Elijah, she said softly. You didn't hurt him, right? He looked up. No, ma'am. She nodded, sat across from him. You don't start anything. You know that. I didn't. But if it comes to you, and you have to end it, end it clean, Elijah finished. She studied him, then smiled. You always do. On Monday, Tyler returned. But something had shifted. His stride wasn't the same. His voice had lost its edge. The circle of followers that used to swarm him? Smaller. Camden sat at a different table. Diego barely looked at him. Elijah didn't gloat. Didn't say a word. But kids noticed. A girl from science class, Grace Whitlow, stopped him near his locker. Hey, you're really calm. He raised an eyebrow. Is that good? She smiled. It's rare. Later that day, during free period, Elijah was shooting hoops alone when Tyler walked into the gym. Elijah tensed, ready for round 2, but Tyler just stood there. I didn't know, he said finally. Didn't know what? That you were trained, or whatever. Elijah bounced the ball once. Would it have changed anything? Tyler didn't answer. After a pause, Elijah passed him the ball. You want to shoot? Or talk? Tyler caught it. Looked down. Didn't smile. Didn't joke. Just nodded and started shooting. For 5 minutes, they played in silence. When the bell rang, Tyler passed the ball back. I shouldn't have done what I did. Elijah held the ball. You wanted to feel bigger. I get it. Tyler blinked. Yeah, I guess. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, Elijah said. You just gotta stop making people smaller to feel taller. Tyler stood still, then walked out of the gym without a word. It wasn't an apology, but it was something. And the biggest change? It wasn't in Tyler. It was in how people saw Elijah. By the end of the week, Elijah's name carried weight, not because he shouted, not because he fought, but because he stood firm with dignity. Teachers began calling on him more, not to challenge him, but to hear him. Some even asked about home. He wasn't invisible anymore. Not in the way he'd feared. Elijah didn't become popular. He didn't need to. But when he walked through the halls, people noticed. Not out of fear, but out of respect. And Tyler? He didn't stop talking. But the edge was gone. He still hung with Camden and Diego, but there was space now. On Thursday, Mr. Langdon pulled Elijah aside after class. I heard what happened, he said. Elijah stayed quiet. I also heard how you handled it. I wasn't looking for a fight. I know, Mr. Langdon replied. That's what makes it stand out. He looked him in the eye. Some people shout to be heard. Others only need a whisper. That evening, Elijah sat on the porch while his mom watered the plants. You okay? She asked. He nodded. Yeah, I think people are finally seeing me. Like really seeing. She smiled. That's a good thing. Yeah, he said. I think it is. A week later, a 6th grader named Riley was getting bullied near the library. Older kids tossing his backpack back and forth. Riley looked close to tears. Elijah saw it. He didn't yell. He didn't run. He walked. And when the older boys saw him, they stopped. One caught the bag mid-air, handed it back without a word. Elijah nodded to Riley. You good? Riley nodded fast. Yeah, thanks. Next time, don't wait for someone else to step in. Speak up. I was scared. It's okay to be scared, Elijah said. Just don't stay quiet because of it. You're not scared. Elijah thought for a second. I'm trained to stay calm. That helps. You like a black belt? Elijah grinned. Yeah, 2nd degree. Riley's eyes widened. No way. Elijah walked away. He didn't need the moment to last. He just needed Riley to remember. Because real strength isn't loud. It's steady. It's quiet. And when it's tested, it doesn't flinch.